Welcome to She Speaks, Voices of Empowerment. I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Shantae, and we're thrilled to have you join us on this incredible journey.
In each episode, we'll explore the inspiring world of women's stories through candid conversations with remarkable women from various industries.
From life advice and personal growth to navigating careers and breaking barriers, our guests will share their journeys, insights, and the valuable lessons they've learned along the way.
So whether you're looking for motivation, practical advice, or just a good dose of inspiration, She Speaks is your go-to podcast for celebrating the strength and resilience of women everywhere.
So prepare to be inspired and empowered as we uncover the power of sharing our stories.
Let's start speaking!
Hey girl!
Hey girl!
Welcome back to the She Speaks podcast.
Episode 5.
It is.
That's so cool. We're getting there, guys.
And every time, I don't think our listeners know, but every time we've had some sort of technical issue.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle.
And then we find it out when we do the editing and we're like, oh my goodness. But hopefully today the sound will be good. The video will be good.
Video will be great.
My laptop won't bomb out.
The laptops will be good.
Yes.
Everything will be amazing today.
Yeah.
You're in for an amazing episode with an amazing woman doing amazing things, and it's just going to be an amazing listen.
Yes. So today we have Dani with us. She is a social worker that works for a crisis pregnancy center here in Somerset West. This episode is going to have something of everything, and at the end a call to action. We can touch on it now, but basically what you will see in this episode is anyone can go and make a difference.
Yeah.
Anyone can go and do something to help someone out. Today we're going to focus on pregnancy or unplanned pregnancies, and then just the process of how to take care of the woman, how to even be a volunteer, and then how to take care of the babies.
Yes.
It's a very heavy discussion.
Yeah, I think there were some tears. There are going to be some tears.
Yeah.
But I think the important takeaway from this episode is going to be the fact that you can help, whether that be in a time capacity, a financial capacity, a donation capacity. There's something where if you're in the Somerset West area and you have an extra couple of hours to spare a week, you know, it's great to maybe get involved. Then we'll also be touching on some of the courses that they run at Choices, you know, to also equip the women volunteering. But if you don't necessarily have the time to actually be physically present, there are donations that you can make, because they support women emotionally, and they try and get them equipped with dealing with the choice that they make, whether it's to keep the baby or to not, or to have an abortion. They give women hampers, and they just really just try to be there for the women. So I think it's such a great call to action if you can get involved. And we will also link the websites. We'll link everything for you to be able to get hold of them.
Yeah, but I'm so excited. Dani is an incredible woman and mama and wife and everything. So we can't wait to just share her story with you guys.
Let's start speaking!
Hallo!
Hallo! Gaat goed met jullie?
Love it.
Guys, we want to welcome Dani to the She Speaks podcast. We are so thankful that you're joining us today.
It's such a pleasure. It's such an honor.
We've got such a cool topic today, and I think this is something that our listeners are really going to enjoy. But also there's a call to action, which you guys will hear where we're getting to. But I believe that wherever you are on a mission. So in this topic, especially in our community, yes, it's good to go out and go on mission trips, but I think it's important to look for opportunities where you are. So that's why for today, with what Dani's going to share with us, it's just going to be so incredible.
And I also think we have such a heart for women. So it's also really amazing to have someone on the podcast that also has such a heart for women, and probably arguably does a lot more than what we are able to do at the moment. It's just amazing to have you on. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Can you please give us just an introduction? Who is Dani? You can start with like personal stuff and then to the work that you do.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, in the few words that I've spoken, you might have picked up an accent already. I'm not from here, I'm from the Netherlands, and I moved here in 2017. And I'm living here now with my husband and my son. And I got involved with Choices, Crisis Pregnancy Center. And I'm very glad that we can talk about it a little bit today.
I wanted to ask something because you are married to a South African man. Did you move to South Africa because the men are so amazing?
I didn't have the picture of getting married and starting a family and all that because of what I was doing. Like, I didn't think that anyone would want to do the same work that I did and move to the other side of the world. Also, I didn't think I would marry a South African because the fighting. If you fight, you need to be able to speak in your mother tongue, right? And they have to understand. So, but hey, it happened. So,
what inspired you to move from the Netherlands to South Africa?
So I was just finishing up my studies in social work, and in the Netherlands, in the work field, I just noticed if I'm not there, things will just continue. If I had 20 minutes with a client, no matter what the situation was, if the client was suicidal, didn't matter. My 20 minutes are up, I move on to the next. And I just felt like this is not how I want to work, because I want to help people. And it might sound naive, want to help people, but actually that is why I studied social work. And I went on a trip in 2015 to KwaZulu-Natal. There I heard that there's actually a shortage of social workers here. And I saw so many things like that needed to be done. Yeah, that's when I started to plan to just come for 6 months, to just do like some volunteering. And 6 months turned into now 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask, why South Africa? So, you know, how did that whole mission come to be?
So the first time I came here to visit, that was just 2-3 weeks. A friend invited me to come along.
So like a holiday?
Yeah, it was more like visiting churches, visiting projects. So it was like an introduction to NGOs in South Africa. And 2 years later, I was in university, and I asked one of my professors, like, do you know any place in the world where I can go, where I can, make a difference? And he knew someone in Somerset West, and that's the person he hooked me up with. And I started chatting to her, and she turned out to be the founder of Choices. So that's how I ended up in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
In terms of being a social worker, how did you know you wanted to become one? Like before you studied and you had to make a decision, how did you know?
I think as a child already, I was always trying to find out why you're not happy. Why you're not happy, what can we do to make you happy? It was always a concern of mine. And I felt responsible. Maybe it's because I'm the oldest at home, but I always felt responsible for other people's happiness. Obviously, now I've learned you can't be responsible for someone else's happiness. But I do believe we can contribute to each other's well-being. And yeah, I've had that from a very young age. And I was actually preparing to study other things, but I just wanted to get into the field as soon as possible. And social work was the 4-year bachelor. So I decided, okay, that's what I'm going to do, because the sooner I'm out there, the better. Yeah.
Being part of Choices, where it's a pregnancy crisis center, was helping people specifically with the pregnancy part and talking them through it and counseling them through it. Was that something that was on your heart before?
I think a lot of the options that I got offered were working with children, like in the children clubs and things like that. And my heart was just with women, a little bit older, that you can sit down and speak to them. So then Choices was an option, and I thought, okay, it's just for 6 months. If it's not my thing, then what's the worst that can happen? But it turned out that I fell in love with Choices and the people there.
Just for our listeners, can you explain exactly what Choices is, where they're located, what they do, who they work with? Yeah, just a little bit of insight.
Okay. Yeah, so Choices is a crisis pregnancy center here in Somerset West, near Mediclinic. And we see about 1,100 women a year who are facing an unplanned pregnancy. And basically what we do, we talk to them, we listen to them also, but we explain the different options that they have so that they can make a well-considered decision that works best for them. We do work together with HH Hospital where they can do the abortion. So abortion is the option that's being chosen most. But we also want to offer other options like adoption and parenting. And recently one of the things we realized is that for a lot of these girls, for a lot of these women, parenting is really not an option due to the circumstances of their life and the living situation. And we're trying to improve that now by pre- and postnatal counselling to actually walk that extra mile with them. So we're pro-choice. We want everyone to make their own choices. And that's what we do. That's what we focus on most.
And then also in like the South African context, I think maybe a lot of our listeners will understand, but some of them won't understand. You're seeing a wide range of women, like in terms of age category. So I'm sure you're seeing a lot of teenagers. I don't know if you see preteens at all, but then, you know, up until 20s. So yeah, can you also just explain into that, I guess, in the South African context, like what are the age ranges that you're seeing?
Yeah, so it's basically any age that someone can fall pregnant. The youngest that I've come across was probably 11. And that happens sometimes. It's not something, it wasn't a once-off. We do have girls that are 11, 12 years old, and not that often. And we do see ladies who are 44, 45, but most of them are in their 20s, I would say. So it's all ages, all cultures also.
And with the work that you guys do, is it reliant on them reaching out to you guys? Or do you also have a way of finding people that need the help?
So I think most of our clients find us through word of mouth. So they've heard someone who's been in the same situations and came to Choices. We used to do a schools program, and we still have people who would say like, no, but you guys came to talk in my school and that's how I know about you. We work together with the local clinics, with local organizations, so that we also get referrals from them. If someone goes to HH for an abortion, they will refer them to us so that we can just help them to make a decision. So it's referrals mostly, whether it's from a friend or from the clinic or school.
And I don't know if this is an answer that you can give, but what is the risk if someone doesn't go through this process? What are the risks involved, especially in this community, if there's unplanned pregnancy?
So there's a lot of illegal abortions happening. A lot. And illegal, yeah. And it's very scary because we do see girls that are actually really, really sick because they took the wrong tablets or they just went for the illegal procedures. So I think that's one of the worst thing that can happen when someone is panicking and doesn't know what to do. Yeah, that's one of the things.
People can die also if they have the procedures.
Yeah.
They can really harm themselves and actually prevent them from having kids in the future.
Yeah. And then we also have the clients that, let's say there wasn't a Choices and everyone would be referred straight to the hospital, the legal place to go for an abortion. It's sometimes so good to hear, like, is this what you want? Is someone pressurizing you? Is your mother telling you to do this? Or is it your husband or your boyfriend? Or do you know that there's a thing called adoption? Have you heard of it? And I think also afterwards, like after going through an abortion, if you only then find out like, oh, actually, there was other options, I think you struggle with an abortion more than when you knew, okay, I made a well-considered decision. I knew what my options were, and this is what is best for me.
Can you walk us and the listeners just through an example case? So like, how long do you usually spend with a woman? Is it different from woman to woman? You know, give a little bit of insight into the procedure.
Yeah. So normally it's first come, first service. It's walk in. We don't do appointments. Okay. So every day we just have to see and wait how many girls and women we're going to see. But normally it's one session. Okay. So we just go through the options. We listen to her, like what's on your heart, like what's happening in your life. And if someone does go for an abortion, then we offer post-abortion counselling, which will be a few sessions, like between 6 and 10 sessions.
At Choices.
It's available at Choices. And sometimes we feel the need to refer them to another organization or another professional. For example, Rape Crisis. They're specialized in rape cases. And we really feel, and I think that's the great thing about NGOs, instead of trying to do everything, and have competitors, you work together because you want the best for the girl. And if we know, okay, this is not really our lane, then we rather refer.
Okay.
However, now since last year, we started the pre and postnatal counseling. So if someone does decide to keep the baby, we do walk with them. So we help them to get through the pregnancy. And once the babies are born, we do home visitation. We do, we just check in. Like we check for postnatal depression, and we just check in on them. Are they doing okay? Are they happy? Are they safe?
Yeah.
Is there a physical aspect of also helping these moms if they decide to?
Whenever someone decides to keep the baby, we do give them a nice gift bag, and whatever donations we get in, sometimes we're able to hand out prams or a crib or some exciting stuff. But we'll make sure that every mother gets some nappies, some baby grows, some toiletries, whatever they need, just to give them a little bit of a kickstart. Because there's nothing worse than not being able to be excited for your baby to be born because you're worried. Like, I don't have nappies, I don't have this, I don't have that. And we try to also, sometimes they just need some food. Like, if they're breastfeeding, you can't not eat for days. So we do try to help them where we can in that way, but we also realize on the long term, we will not really be helping them if you just provide. So then we rather try to make CVs or help them to find a job or refer them to Work for a Living, which is an amazing organization in, more places, but also in Nomzamo, where they get trained and get the job readiness training.
That's incredible, because then it helps them in the long run.
Yeah.
And do you have any specific success story that stands out that you're just so proud of? Like a woman, that's just risen above the situation?
Yeah, there is one. And she's actually amazing. This young girl, she came to us and she didn't really have family here. She didn't really have friends. She just lost her job. So her situation was really difficult. And she was planning to go for an abortion, and she came to Choices. She went through the counseling. We did an ultrasound, which we also started last year. And during the ultrasound, during the scan, she just fell in love with the baby.
Goosebumps.
And it's always a hard thing because you see them falling in love with the baby, and at the same time, her circumstances haven't changed as she walks out of the room. Like, she's going to go back into that world that she's been living in. But she really worked hard. She stayed quite far from Choices, but she was committed to come. She kept coming back for another scan, for prenatal counseling. We made a CV. She's been handing out her CVs. And just 2 weeks ago, I went to visit her after giving birth. And she is just the happiest and the best mom I've seen. Like, she's doing so well with what she has. She really... The love that she has for that baby, it's just amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it just shows you, you guys help a lot, but it's the mom, also the woman, also that she needs to make the decision and then say, okay, I'm gonna fight for this.
Yeah. I think basically counseling is a mirror. You put a mirror in front of someone, and if you ask the right questions without your opinions, without like a helicopter view on the situation, you make her to look at herself and her situation, and then she might walk in thinking she knows what she wants, and then after a good session, then she might come out knowing what she wants. And I think that's really amazing, and that's what we've seen with her. Like, she just loves being a mother now, and she's doing so well.
I think oftentimes, but correct me if I'm wrong, I think also the women, I know you say it's like multicultural, there isn't a specific culture or a specific race, because every woman, there are a lot of women that can struggle with this. But oftentimes, if you feel like abortion is your only option, just being seen as this capable woman, having a support system, because how often those women, they might not have support systems. They might not have people like encouraging them or just friends encouraging them. So I think it's such a powerful tool to be able to just help that woman, make her feel seen, make her, or just show her, you know, she's not alone in this journey. Because like you said, you went and you visited her after the baby was born, and I think that's just incredible that she knows that she's not alone.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop in that one session or
Yeah.
a few sessions. Like, okay, let's make sure that
Yeah.
they're okay.
Yeah, and even if you do very little, like there's also girls that we're just talking to on WhatsApp. It's just that someone is listening to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they work it out themselves. Like we don't do anything, we don't give anything, and they just by being able to talk to someone, they can process their own thoughts.
Yes.
But hearing you speak about it, like even a WhatsApp, even just going to a person and talking to them, what would you say to the person that feels like they're not good enough to be able to help in an area like this?
If you can help out a friend, you can help with choices.
Sure.
If you have the heart for other women and you just want to be there for her, that's all. That's really all. Choices also offers training for someone who does want to be a counselor. But as long as your heart is in the right place and your heart is beating faster when you hear stories like this, then you're at the right place. Then you don't need to worry about using techniques and what. It's not that complicated. And that's what I love about this work. It's not difficult, but it makes such a big impact. It's sometimes hard. It is sometimes hard. It's like emotional. You get your own feelings involved, but it's not difficult. I think that's the big difference.
Personally, how do you manage to do that? You have, because you work with choices, how do you separate how do you separate emotionally almost? Because you don't want to be detached. You obviously need to show up and be there for the goals.
Yeah.
But how do you, I guess, balance the two?
Yeah, that is difficult because you don't want to show your emotions too much to the client, to the girl. So often what we do after a session, we all get together and you must just imagine we have a big office where everyone is writing their reports and counselors come and go. They go in, they go out. And there's always someone sitting there writing their report. So one of the most important things for me is to be able to share my emotions and my feelings and my view on the situation and my maybe disappointment sometimes or maybe concern that I can't say in front of the girl, the client, but I can say it to my colleague and my friend also, because we are all friends at Choices and we help each other. We listen to each other. Yeah, so I think that really helps, that your emotions are allowed to be there also. We don't, just because it's not our decision to make or because we shouldn't have an opinion on it, doesn't mean we can't share that within the team and help each other.
And it helps you because then you can still keep your love on in every situation. Because even though you maybe don't agree with a specific decision, you can still like, okay, I can voice this, but I'm still protecting my clients so that they can make the decision.
Yes.
The next question would be, with Choices, are there any educational or awareness initiatives that you guys are running for this community?
At the moment, we're not actually. That all stopped with the COVID. We have looked at restarting it. We don't have the manpower at the moment to do so, unfortunately. However, there is some other organizations out there that are doing that, so that's amazing. And if a school would ask us to come in, and we do have a few volunteers that do go into the schools, but it's not as at the place where we would like it to be. But if maybe we would get some more volunteers, we can restart it again.
So this is a call to action.
Little bit.
This is a call to listeners to get involved, to volunteer. I guess even if it's not on a full-time basis, just to have volunteers.
Yeah, so most of our volunteers are not there full-time.
Okay.
So most of our volunteers will come in for 3 or 4 hours a week.
Okay.
They will do 3 sessions a week. Because we're also trying to protect our volunteers because it can be hectic to, like I said, with your own feelings and your own... And you want to help the girls that you see. And there's only we are a little bit limited. So most of the counselors will come in 3 to 4 hours a week and they see 3 clients. And actually even volunteers who don't have that much time, like I mentioned now, like with the home visitations of the girls, just checking in on them. Anyone can do that. If you have 1 hour in the week or every other week to meet up with one of those girls, just as a friend, basically, just to check in on her, is she okay? Then we're already happy.
And I know that there was an announcement made where you also, because you say that you work with volunteers to be able to counsel. So can you just explain that process for anyone wanting to get involved? Like what they need to do they just reach out to Choices, and then what is the procedure from there on?
Yes, so Choices is part of Pregnancy Help Network, and they have developed a training, Equipped to Serve. It's a 4-day training in which you learn the basics of counseling. It's very, very good. Like, I've studied social work, but in those 4 days you learn a lot. And we are going to offer it. It's going to come to Choices in June. So if someone, even if you're not going to end up volunteering at Choices, it's still a very good course to do. So yeah, you can reach out. They can reach out to us and sign up for this training.
And then looking towards the future, what hopes and dreams do you have for the work that you do, and especially here in this area?
Yo, I think I sometimes need to slow down a little bit, because I get excited about our work and I do want to do more and more and more. And sometimes it's better to just start with one small step and do it very well until you move on to the next. But like I said, last year we started with the ultrasound service and the pre- and postnatal counseling. And at the moment, I'm the only one doing that. And there's actually a lot of girls who need pre- and postnatal counseling. And it would also be great if there's more volunteers who can do the ultrasounds. So I think that's the next step. That's what I'm hoping for, that we get more people involved, to be more involved with the girls' lives. And and for people to do the ultrasound training, that's also going to be offered by Choices. So if you're interested in that, you can also contact us.
Yeah, so counseling, ultrasound training, there's a lot that you can do.
We also have a prayer team. So if someone feels like time is limited, you have a full-time job or what, there is a prayer team. It's just started, actually. We have this amazing lady who's leading it. And we need prayer warriors for our team, but also for our girls, because their situations are really hard. Or you can just pray for them at home. That's also.
Because it's an NGO, do you at all take monetary contributions, or do you prefer contributions in the form of volunteers?
We do also, we do have some paid staff at Choices.
Okay.
So most of our counselors are volunteers, but we do have some Xhosa speaking and Afrikaans speaking counselors that are there full-time. Okay. I'm saying full-time, but we only open part-time, so it's basically part-time. So they're getting paid a salary. It's also people from the locations that can't just volunteer. It's not for everyone to be able to volunteer, because families also need to be fed. So we do need financial support also, so that we can continue paying those salaries. And whenever we do get a little bit more money in, we also try to buy some nice things for the girls, or
like those hampers that you
exactly. Like there's seasons that we get a lot of donations. There's seasons that we don't get so many donations, but our girls are quite consistent with the gift bags that they need. So in those times we do go to the shop and we buy them stuff. Okay. So if you don't know what to give, or you don't have clothes to donate or what, then a financial contribution is also possible.
And if you, because I think you said you see about 1,100 people or women, that's a year, right?
Yeah.
So my understanding, if you have more volunteers, you'd also be able to reach more women.
We actually do. Yeah, we would be able to reach more women. We actually have to send people away sometimes, and it really breaks our hearts. Sometimes we're trying to squeeze in as many clients as we can for the day. But the truth is we can't exhaust our counselors, because the next week we'll be without. And then we can't help anyone. So we do. And actually, that's one of the things I love about Choices Management, that they really try to protect the counselors also, because we don't want someone that comes with, to help with her heart and then leaves broken or burned out.
Yes.
So indeed, if we were to have more counselors, more volunteers, we could help more of these women.
In the news last week, there was some news about a baby that was left in the baby box. Can you tell us a little bit about that process, also how often it happens, people that don't want to keep the baby and they have no other option?
Yeah, so since it's been over 10 years now that Choices is hosting the Baby Saver. So the Baby Saver doesn't belong to Choices, it's a individual NGO, but we're hosting it. And about every year we get a baby dropped off in the Baby Saver, and you can see it as like the last attempt to look after the baby, basically. It does happen that someone decides to keep the baby, and then once the baby is there, they're just desperate and they don't know what to do. So it's a safe place. As soon as the mother places the baby in the Baby Saver, there's cameras in there, and a silent alarm will go off, and the security and the ambulance and the Baby Saver team will be alarmed that there's a baby in the Baby Saver. So the baby will always go to hospital and be looked after, checked out, and then the baby will go into foster care and be put up for adoption. And even though Choices, we're just hosting it, but we do work together with them closely. And actually Choices is there to prevent that from happening. So it is the last option. And I'm just thinking of these mothers, they must love their baby so much that they, I mean, you've experienced it, like you hold your own baby, and even just any baby that you had responsibility over just for babysitting, like you can just feel that responsibility and you want the best for this baby. And if you get to the point that you feel like the best is to release the baby for adoption, that's like great love.
Like what you said, it's the last attempt of taking care of this baby, because if, let's say they're in the worst situation where there's maybe abuse or they don't have food or anything, it's just like, baby, giving you a second chance at life, here's an option.
Yes.
I'm glad that's there, because it just shows you, when you think about the whole problem, unplanned pregnancy, and there is taking care of the moms and the woman, and then there's taking care of the babies. And like you said, the NGOs work together so well. You're not competing against each other. You're trying to see where is the help needed in this problem. And in every single situation is so different that, okay, go to Choices to make a decision.
Yeah.
When you make the decision, baby needs help, this is what you do. So I guess there's so much that we can learn from all of the organizations around us. We can have a whole episode about all the different organizations. But Dani, the work that you do is so important, and looking at you, it's just amazing that you put yourself in this space, doing the brave things.
Yeah.
So well done on that. Very.
I couldn't be an engineer or a photographer or do anything creative.
But I remember when I met you last year, there's this Afrikaans saying, "Het gaan met verstand te boven."
Yes.
That you have the capacity to just do what you do, and you do it so successfully, but also with so much love. And it's just inspiring. It's just inspiring to see you, continuously do that. And I feel in your personal life, I know we don't have time to really touch on it, but you've had so many obstacles that you've had to overcome in your personal life. And I think sometimes, when someone is really out there, being a warrior, there's going to be attacks from the enemy. And I guess it's just the fact that you're just continuing on. I think even with Victor, your husband, he's in a similar field to you, and just the fact that you guys are just continuously out there fighting, and just rising above the obstacles that you guys are facing. You're not letting it get you down, you're not letting it come in your way. And I think if the listeners, I don't want to get emotional, but if you guys just hear some of the stories that Victor's even told, it's crazy. It's crazy what Dani and Victor and your boy Jackson, it's crazy sometimes what they have to get through and stand up against and fight through. But you guys do it with so much courage, and you just continue to do it. And like, I want to shake our listeners. I wish I could physically shake you guys just to have a bit of a, I guess we could probably have a topic just on you guys telling stories. We have you and Victor here, just telling stories about stuff that you've had to face. But the fact that you just, continue on, it's incredible.
And it puts an understanding on us that every single person, like, we've got a mission to do. Like, in this life, we need to do things that also is filled with purpose. I would encourage anyone listening, this might not be something that you're interested in, but it might be, I don't know, helping people getting a job or whatever. But there's always something that you can do in the community that you're part of. And then also reaching out to people around you. Like, I personally don't know how to do counselling for unplanned pregnancies, but now I know where to go find out how to do it properly. So call to action to everybody, wherever you are, there is a space for you where you can go make a difference. But you guys are also believers. What part does that play in the work that you do? And also, I don't know, listening or hearing from God in terms of specific situations.
Yeah, no, it plays a huge part. Like, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for God. Just last year, the end of the year, we were in the Netherlands and we realized what our life could be like. Not necessarily in the Netherlands, but if we would have normal jobs, it could be so different and maybe easier. But would we get the fulfillment and we just feel led to be here and to do this type of work. And also just to be able to do it. Because I wouldn't be able to do it without my faith in God, with His help. And I think prayer is a very important one in that. As a team, we pray for each other, we pray for our clients. And we do believe that in the end, it's God who's doing the work. We're just instruments. And if you look at it like that, everything becomes so much lighter. It's like, I can mess up, but at the same time, God will not let the situation get messed up.
You will finish where you started.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not all your responsibility.
So if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Sure. Because I think in any natural world, like, people would be like, no, okay, choose the job that makes sense in every aspect, in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of the stress. Having purpose is so important in the work that you do.
Like, it's a difficult, I don't know, do you ask about your faith in this? Because I think as soon as you put choices or, that it's a pregnancy control center, I think maybe religious people, there's a big divide with, it has to be this type of thing, or it has to, there's this crazy argument, but I don't think that you can see them in a vacuum. And I think, I think it's difficult to judge. And I don't think you should judge anyone for the choice that they make. So I think it's good to just be there as a support structure for the woman. And I think, because you don't know what that woman is going through. Like, if you go days on end without food, how are you in your house with your full stomach, with your you've got everything. How are you there to judge someone that makes a choice that you wouldn't make?
And I guess it also comes down to trusting that God will help this person. Like, if she decides, I'm keeping the baby, trusting that God would help us through the whole process.
Yeah, I think Choices is in a difficult position. Like, there's organizations out there, like justice organizations, who are actually warning against pregnancy help centers.
Oh, what?
Because they will tell you they're gonna push you to decide to keep the baby, blah blah blah. And then at the same time, the churches that we need the support from, they're sometimes like, they're supporting abortion. And both sides, it's like you're stuck in between. None of them is true. But we are like all the Choices counselors, all the Choices staff, we are Christians. And I think it's God's love that inspires us to help these women. And if we see someone with a different belief system, we can still help them. The source of the reason why we want to help them, it's the same. And they don't need to know that. But it's why we can help them. And God also gives wisdom in that.
Yes.
I can see someone who is a Muslim without having to try to get the Bible involved or what. There's no need for that. We can just show love. It's about helping her, indeed. And I think, so Jackson is not unplanned, maybe a little bit. I like to call him a surprise. But it just made me realize that time, like, even though we were married, we were stable, we had an income, we had a place to live, I felt so overwhelmed. I kept it quiet for the first 15 weeks until I started sharing it, just because I felt so overwhelmed. And it really helped me to just get a glimpse of what our clients are going through. Because they don't have a roof above their head, they don't have an income, they're not married, they don't have support. And just that overwhelmed feeling, I can only imagine what it's like for them without all that.
Additional stress there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it really helps to be there for them and to not judge. Like you said, like, who am I to judge her?
But I think you said something beautiful there, also just about God's love, because the way that I always try to tell people is God's love. There's no caveat on God's love. It's not, love your neighbor if they're Christian. Love your neighbor if they decide to keep the baby. Love your neighbor if there's no caveat. It's love. And that for me, the fact that churches don't want to support you because they're like, they're pro-abortion, or certain NGOs don't want to support you because they're like, it's pro-choice, or the fact that they're going to push you to keep the baby. That makes me like, I was sad earlier, but now I'm like almost angry at the fact that why can't we just all work together just to try and just love this woman and support her, no matter what her choice is. You try and give her all the information to try and give her like the ability to make the most informed decision on what's going to be best for her. And I guess I'm just angry at that, the fact, but I'm angry also, I think I'm maybe less angry at the NGOs, but I'm more angry at the churches, because it's more than them. It's more than their doctrine. It's about spreading God's love and just letting these women understand that they are loved no matter what, their choice is. Maybe there is an argument to be made for what's, a better choice, but that argument, it's not for someone else to judge that woman on.
And luckily there's many churches that do support us, don't get me wrong. So we're very grateful for those. But indeed, like, no one wants an abortion like, I want to buy new shoes, I went to the mall, I saw something, I want it. It's 9 out of 10 times, if not more, it is out of desperation that someone opts for an abortion. Because it is, no matter your belief system, it is something that will affect you. So actually there's a lot of the girls who actually are believers and they struggle with it and they're scared for punishment from God. And I think it's such an amazing chance for us to say, listen, God hates sin, but sin are equal, and I'm a sinner, you're a sinner, we're all sinners, but he loves us, he loves you. And some of the girls, they will go for the abortion. And do we see it as a loss? Yeah, in a way, but at the same time, if you can impact her life, if you can make her feel loved by God, then it's still a win, isn't it?
Yeah. Because ultimately, I guess God can also use her testimony. Maybe she goes through this now, but you never know where she's going to end up and how she's maybe capable of impacting or transforming someone else's life. Because God can use anyone, whether they've made a choice or not made a choice.
And
I think that's
important.
important.
At the end of the day, it's not about our opinion. Like, our opinions don't matter in a situation that we're not part of. We can trust that God would speak to someone, God would lead someone, and God would take care of them when they make that decision. So thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
I enjoyed it. It was indeed just a coffee date. To make it very casual.